things. What do you think about the hybrid development? I mean, in other tools that some experience that you have.
Talking about hybrid tools, hybrid frameworks, like for example Flutter, React Native, Ionic, they have their own advantages, uh, but it depends of the product that you want to build. In For example, if you if you have a product that it's simple, that you want to speed up to send it to the market, you can use these tools. But if you have a complex app uh, that needs a lot of features that involve the physical features, like, I don't know, Face ID, or the location, or the communication between the application and a Bluetooth device. At the end, you will need to develop a native piece of code, or a native piece of module to your app. This, unless you find a third-party library that does that, the things that you want, you know. I don't know if I explained myself a little bit, but for example, if you build an application in Ionic, at the end you are building a UI view, sorry, a web view.
Correct.
You just have a native application, but one screen with a web view, and all the things that you're watching and you are interacting with are web, and you don't have this performance of the device, of the hardware. You are using a website at the end. An advantage, or in React Native, for example, the advantage that React Native has is that all the UI, it's built in a native code. I mean, React Native takes the code that you're developing and creates the native components, but all the business logic that happen there, like requests, or the models that you have in your structure, the network layer, all that code works in JavaScript. You are not using Swift at the end. React Native, it creates a bridge between the UI and your business logic in JavaScript. But no, you are not using the native code, and you have a better performance between React Native and Ionic. But if you have native applications and you compare native applications with an application made in React Native, you will have a better performance in a native application, because a native application use all the resources in the device, and it's not making a bridge or a wrapper that communicates the UI with another thing. No, you have the code that you need to execute, and it doesn't to have to I mean, how to explain that, it shouldn't have an extra instructions or another process.
Correct.
You
Yeah, it's
execute the code as it is,
yeah, makes sense. It's because you're coding directly on a native way.
in a native
Uh,
way.
but but uh, but
But
at
it
the end,
works
exactly, it works.
to speed up your development, and you can send
Yeah.
both applications in iOS and Android with the same code. Okay, it works, but don't expect that you have an applications with the same features or the same functionality that came with the new iOS 15, because you will need to wait until React Native create its own libraries with the new features that came in iOS 15. You know.
Nice, nice. That's a great point. And I think, in my opinion, I think it's cool to have those hybrid and for mobile development, like React Native, Flutter,
It
Xamarin, all
help it
that
help,
stuff.
it help a lot
It, it helps
because
a lot to speed up the development, and it
yeah,
might be suitable for many projects, right? It might depend on the type of application
yeah, it
and
depends.
type of, yeah.
You need to think in the mobile development. You need to think what's your target, how complex is your app, what's the functionality that you would like to have in your app. Um, and taking those points, you would decide, okay, I will use a framework in React Native because I don't need the new features of the React Native, but I have the need of send my application in both platform with one application. If my application works in the market, I would use another time to develop the application in a native language. Meanwhile, I'm going to send it in an hybrid framework.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? I mean, maybe for the time to market, it's good, so you can gain some time.
Yeah, exactly.